Hello, I'm Helen from the British School of Meditation and welcome to our channel. We train people to become meditation teachers and our course is externally accredited by Centres and recognised by Ofqual. And we also have a list on our site of teachers, meditation teachers who have trained with us and run meditation classes and train people how to meditate. So if you're interested in either of those, hop onto our channel. I put a website. I put a list down, put the link down below. So just click on that for more information. So in the last few vlogs, we've looked at meditation and mindfulness. And is mindfulness a meditation? And I think the general consensus of opinion is that it is. I've also guided you in a body scan, a short body scan. And in the last one, we looked at making a cup of tea mindfully. But I also touched on in that vlog on other mindful activities that people can use to help with their health and mental well-being, you know, for dealing with symptoms of anxiety, stress, and so on and so forth. Now, the next day after I recorded that, I was looking on YouTube. Now, a bit of a clue that I do like YouTube, and I do watch lots of YouTube vlogs and videos and so on and so forth. And it was by a girl who calls herself The Last Stitch. I think it's The Last Stitch. Anyway, I'll put a link down below. And she was talking very frankly how sewing had helped her dealing with her anxiety. And this is really how I came to take up sewing and crafts through my meditation practice. Because when I came to meditation, I was very, very stressed quite a number of years ago. And I mean, I still have stresses in my life, for goodness sake. Everybody does, but it's how you deal with that stress. So I was waking up absolutely rigid with stress. And I thought, you know what, I can't live my life like this. This is ridiculous. So through a fairly winding route, I found meditation, or meditation found me. And it became my absolute practice, my rock, my strength, which I've talked about in previous vlogs, so hop back and have a look at that. But one of the side effects, if you want to call it that, is that I am sure because I was able to free up my mind, I began to feel I wanted to do more creative things, which is really interesting because years and years ago when my girls were little, I used to make all their dresses, and I used to make my own clothes, but I had to do it, you know, financially. I needed to do that in order to be able to afford to have nice clothes. And then one day my youngest sister said, oh Helen, could you make 4 bridesmaids dresses, 2 of which were for my girls? So I thought, oh really? Anyway, I made these dresses, and it was after that I put my sewing machine away. I thought, I am done with sewing. And I think that was because I had to do it. And I've always been a little bit of a rebel. So my sewing machine went away and I didn't do any sewing, embroidery. I did a little bit of knitting, I think, for years. And then, as I say, with my meditation practice, I began to think, do you know, I really quite fancy getting my sewing machine out again. Well, actually, by that time, my sewing machine was quite decrepit, so I treated myself to a new one. Anyway, to cut a long story short, over the last few years, I've made lots of things. I make a lot of my own clothes, and I do quite a lot of sewing and making quilts. And in fact, here's a couple of things that I'm in the process of making at the moment. So I'm making a quilt. I'll show you in a year's time when it's finished. And it's made up of all sorts of little squares and things. So this is one piece, and this is about 6.5 by 6.5, and then this goes in the middle of the quilt, and I've got to make 4 of those, and I've made 2 so far. So as you can see, they are really quite, well, actually fact, they look harder than they really are, but you know, you have to concentrate. And the number of times I've stitched them up together and thought, oh good, that's done, and then I look again and I've got one of these squares around the wrong way, obviously I wasn't quite in that mindful place when I did that. So I thought, well, it would be really interesting as well, just to see what the research was on taking up crafts and hobbies and what we class as a craft or hobby to help us. So I went on to our wonderful Google, and there is loads of information there if you care to have a look. So I just picked out a couple. And so this is an article by the Craft Council, and it says that craft can alleviate the symptoms of anxiety, depression, loneliness and even dementia, according to research. And then it goes on to talk about different ways that you can take up crafts. But this is quite an interesting little paragraph. Recent research published by the Recent research published by University College London's March Mental Health Network, formed in 2018, with members including the Craft Council and the Museums Association, show that engaging with visual arts can reduce reported anxiety and that visiting museums can protect against dementia's development. Cultural activities encourage gentle movement, reduce socialization and lower inflammation and stress hormones such as cortisol. So that's really interesting. And then there's this one as well from the Imperial Health Wellbeing, and it says here that taking up a new hobby to help improve your well-being. And for example, it doesn't have to be just sewing, gardening. One study from the Baker Spalding found that 88% of gardeners reported increased mental well-being as a key benefit of gardening. Gardening has also been linked to lowering the risk of dementia and can really focus and relax the mind. Now that's what mindfulness is, to focus and relax the mind, because you're just concentrating on what you're doing at that present moment. And in that present moment, just those anxious thoughts are just getting pushed out of the way. Now, obviously, not everybody wants to do sewing, knitting, carving, painting or whatever, but all of us have to eat. And so baking has been also held as therapeutic as it involves relaxing repetitive actions such as kneading, measuring and stirring. These can help calm the mind. It can also be creative, in expressing your creativity is also good for your mental health. So some bakers also feel, I mean, when they say bakers, they don't necessarily mean bread makers, but they mean cooks. Also find that getting a feeling of satisfaction and well-being when they share their baked goods with others. Now, what can be a greater gift to yourself and your family is to think about and prepare a meal or a cake for your family and friends to enjoy. So that also is good for yourself. Well, obviously not if you ate all of the cake, that perhaps wouldn't be such a good idea. But to be able to share what you have made with others, I think is the greatest gift to yourself. There are lots and lots of ways to look at hobbies and to find something that you enjoy. And it may be that you just look at what you're doing anyway and think, actual fact, that is a mindful activity for me. So have a think and have a play around and look at what you're doing. And I'm sure I should touch on this subject again in the future. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this little chat, do click on the like button and subscribe to our channel, and enjoy making. And as I call it, when I come up to my sewing room, I'm coming up for a bit of a play. So enjoy playing. Okay, thank you for listening. Bye.